Hey y'all, it's Melissa here at Twin Oaks Family Farm in rural Southeast Ohio, USA. Welcome back to our farm, to our happy little homestead, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. We took a break from uploads here on YouTube on our channel. We also took a break from poultry production, and we did get to visit North Carolina coast and hang out on the Outer Banks. And now we're back to our workday and farm routines. And in this video, I'm going to show you the current flock of our Cornish cross meat chickens. There's 434 of them. So just going to show you them in their brooder space and talk about our experiences with starting meat chickens. So it's a great project, especially if you want to be able to take some control of your food supply. If you have resources and circumstances that would allow you to raise a livestock production animal and take that project from start to finish and produce your own meat, then meat chickens might be something you want to consider. And you can follow along on our channel, Twin Oaks Farm Poultry, to see raising meat chickens in action, to see it from start to finish. You can even go back through videos here on our channel. We have tons of videos here on our channel. We really just started our channel like in February of 2023, but we have tons and tons of videos on there where we followed multiple flocks from start to finish. And we are raising meat chickens in about 5 weeks now. We last year had a 6-week production schedule, and prior to that, as we were learning about raising Cornish cross meat chickens, we would even raise them like 7-8 weeks. But as we've learned more and kind of perfected the way we want our process and our system to run, the way that works for us and our resources, we've gotten to the point where 5 weeks is what we want to raise these meat birds on, timetable wise. 35 days, 35, 37 days, just a 5-week production schedule. And so the really cool thing about raising meat chickens is that, like I said, you can take some control of some of your food supply. You know, you could have a small vegetable garden, some fruit bushes, maybe even some fruit trees. And then this is a small animal that you could raise for meat production. And in addition to that, you could also have, you know, some egg production hens. So you're getting proteins, you're getting egg production, you could get meat production. And with chickens, it's something you can do in a little smaller space and in a lot shorter timetable than, say, raising pigs for pork or raising cattle for beef. Like I said, with these meat chickens, you could go 5 weeks. If you're like, I don't have a lot of time, I need a project that's, you know, short and done, meat chickens might be just the thing to raise to have a great protein source that you can raise on your own. And it doesn't have to be Cornish cross meat chickens. There's other kinds of meat chickens. This is the kind of meat chicken we prefer, and we're actually raising them to direct market it to clients in our local area. So we're high hopes that we can keep working hard and keep the sales going and keep the operation going, because ultimately we have to be able to continue to sell it in order to be able to continue to raise it at this quantity. So we're still very small farm, but for just a household family run operation to take on, like this year, we have scheduled 1,650 Cornish cross meat chickens to produce, and we're on our 3rd flock. So our first 2 flocks, just a little over 225 birds were produced in our first 2 flocks, but then we've moved in this 3rd flock of the year, 425 birds. So I'm going to show you that. But we are here to help. If you have questions about raising Cornish cross meat chickens, put them in the comment thread. I answer what I can. I research what I need to. We try to get you some leads and some experience that we've had with anything that you would try to ask. But we encourage you, if you are wanting that feeling of being able to do something about your food supply, this would be a production livestock animal that would be a protein source, that this is doable for a lot of folks to be able to raise your own meat. So pretty cool. So we are in our meat bird production barn. We're going to go look at the birds, but there's something I want to show you first. So I said I'll tell you a little bit about starting meat chickens and our experiences with that too. So these white boxes that are leaned up here against the yellow plastic crates, and I can tell you what those are if you're wondering about those too, but well, basically you're kind of seeing how the birds are transported at start and finish. It's kind of a, I didn't plan it that way, but kind of a neat juxtaposition to see that. But these white boxes are what the chicks as hatchlings are shipped to our place in from the hatchery. So we get chicks from a hatchery. So basically, for us, something that might be different for us than it is for you, like if you were going to raise one flock for household consumption, you might just be able to order your birds whenever you're ready to be close to raising them, or you might be able to go into a large farm supply store. For us, we plan our flocks a year ahead. So we have all of our hatchlings for all of 2024 already ordered. So they were ordered by the beginning of the year or right at the beginning of the year. All the hatchlings that we want for all year in 6 different flocks stretching from the beginning of the year toward the end of the year. I think our last flock is scheduled to start sometime in October. So we've ordered all those 1,650 chicks at one time to stretch out in 6 different flocks throughout the entire year. So when the hatch dates come along, then they're hatched at the hatchery. In our case, that's Mount Healthy Hatchery in around Cincinnati, Ohio. And then we order them straight run. So that means we take guys and gals. We get males and females, however they're hatched. So they don't have to sort out like just roosters or just pullets for us. So we take them straight run. And in this group, like I said, we requested 425. And so the actual count, the exact count per box is actually labeled on the boxes. So that exact count we ended up with was 434. And so there is a place where, like, I had a new experience. I thought the birds would be coming in probably boxes of 100. And you can see how they're kind of split into like a set of quads, split into 4, okay? So 68 birds were in this box. I thought it would be a box of 100 with 4 quads of like 25 each. But, you know, it's hotter weather now, and the body heat, we don't want the birds to get overheated. So that's probably part of what drives how the hatchery packs them. But anyway, so they packed them in boxes of 68, and all the little air holes were punched out of the boxes. Like when we get winter, or not, we don't really get birds in the winter, but when we get spring birds that would be shipping in colder times of the year, some of the holes are punched out, not necessarily all of them. And that's when we've gotten the hundreds with like 25 birds in each quad. So that would hold in more body heat, produce more body heat, and hold in more body heat. So this way, the weather was expected to be like in the 80s the day that this flock moved in, which was June 12th, 2024. We're recording on June 13th, 2024. It won't be uploaded until later in June 2024 when y'all are seeing this for the first time. But anyway, we were to have high temperatures. So I'm assuming that's why they're in smaller boxes, fewer birds in the box with all the air holes utilized. So that's how we get them. They come in the mail, and we were able to network actually with our local feed mill on how we order our hatchlings. But you can order direct from hatcheries when you want to order hatchlings, or you can go to a large farm supply store. But I wanted to show you all those boxes to give you that. I'm going to try to back up enough. I don't know if I can get them all in one screen here, but it was 6 larger boxes and then a small box you see on the right of 26. So that was 434 birds. I hope I said the total right earlier, but we ordered 425. They sent 434. They put exact count on the boxes for us. So that's how they shipped in, okay? And there's bands on each box to hold it securely there. And then when those came in, I got them picked up and got them home. And those birds all, at least in our system, have to be unloaded one at a time. We don't just open the lid and dump them out. We unload the birds one at a time, and we're doing a couple things when we do that. We confirm the count, and we also dip the birds' beaks into their water dispensers. And so we're accomplishing that. First of all, they figure out where the water is. It kind of imprints on them that getting it out of the water dispensers is how they're going to get their water. That's also the first thing we want in their digestive system, because remember, they're hatchlings, and we're going to look at the birds here in just a moment. But remember, they're hatchlings. Water is the first thing we want in them. That gets their digestive system going, okay? And it's less stress to start with water, let them settle in. Going to go ahead and look over the wall at some of the birds. And it lets them settle in and prepare to get solid food too, okay? There's just a couple of them. So the other thing I said, there's kind of a juxtaposition. This is how we get them to start with in the white boxes. The yellow plastic crates are live poultry transport crates for finished birds. That's how they leave. So they arrive in these, they leave in those yellow crates, which you can see some full ones down at the end. Of course, they're stood up on their side. We set them down on their bottom, and then actually we're looking at the top there. So we can load about, so those boxes, those crates, we can load about 8 5 or 6 week old birds in there, and they fit 68 birds in that box to start with. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look. Y'all been patient with me. So what does 434 birds look like? So